for example, getting energy from the sun, that's also exponential. It's also just like this. It's increased. We now are getting about 1,000 times as much energy from the sun that we did 20 years ago.
Because of the implementation of solar panels and the like.
Yeah.
Has the function of it increased exponentially as well? The function of, because what I had understood was that there was a bottleneck in the technology as far as how much you could extract from the sun from those panels.
No, not at all.
No?
I mean, it's increased 99.7% since we started.
Right.
And it does the same every year. It's an exponential curve. And if you look at the curve, we'll be getting 100% of all the energy we need in 10 years.
The person who told me that was Elon. And Elon was telling me that this is the reason why you can't have a fully solar-powered electric car, because it's not capable of absorbing that much from the sun with a small panel like that. He said there's a physical limitation in the panel size.
No, I mean, it's increased 99.7% since we started.
Since what year?
That's about 35 years ago.
35 years ago. And 99% of the ability of it, as well as the expansion of use?
I mean, you might have to store it. We're also making exponential gains in storage of electricity.
Right. Battery technology. Right.
So you don't have to get it all from a solar panel that fits in a car.
Well, the concept was, like, could you make a solar-paneled car, a car that has solar panels on the roof? And would that be enough to power the car? And he said no. He said it's just not really there yet.
Right. It's not there yet, but it will be there in 10 years.
You think so? Yeah, he seemed to doubt that. He thought that there's there's a limitation of the amount of energy you can get from the sun, period, how much it gives out, and how much those solar panels can absorb.
Well, you're not going to be able to get it all from the solar panel that fits in a car. You're going to have to store some of that energy.
Right. So you wouldn't just be able to drive indefinitely on solar power. Yeah, that was what he was saying. So, but you can obviously power a house, and especially if you have a roof, like Tesla has those solar-powered roofs now.
But you can also store the energy
Right.
for a car. I mean, we're going to go to all renewable energy, wind and sun, within 10 years, including our ability to store the energy.
All renewable in 10 years? So what are they going to do with all these nuclear plants and coal-powered plants and all these things?
That's completely unnecessary. People say we need nuclear power, which we don't. I mean, you can get it all from the sun and wind within 10 years.
So in 10 years, you'll be able to power Los Angeles with sun and wind?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
I was not aware that we were anywhere near that kind of timeline.
Well, that's because people are not taking into account exponential growth.
So the exponential growth also of the grid? Because just to pull the amount of power that you would need to charge, X amount of million. If everyone has an electric vehicle by 2035, let's say then, just the amount of change you would need on the grid would be pretty substantial.
Well, we're making exponential gains on that as well.
Are we? Yeah?
Yeah.
I wasn't aware. I had this impression that there was a problem with that, and especially in Los Angeles, they've actually asked people at certain times when it's hot out to not charge your car.
They're not looking at the future.
Mm-hmm.
That's true now, but it's growing exponentially
in every field of technology. Then essentially,
yeah.
Is the bottleneck a battery technology, and how close are they to solving some of these problems with like conflict minerals and the things that we need in order to power these batteries?
I mean, our ability to store energy is also growing exponentially. So putting all that together, we'll be able to power everything we need within 10 years.
Wow. Most people don't think that. So you're thinking that based on this idea that people have a limited
never
idea.
imagined that computation would grow like this.
Mm-hmm.
It's just continuing to do that. And so we have large language models, for example. No one expected that to happen like 5 years ago.
Right.
And we had them 2 years ago, but they didn't work very well. So it began a little less than 2 years ago that we could actually do large language models. And that was very much a surprise to everybody. That's probably the primary example of exponential growth.
We had Sam Altman on. One of the things that he and I were talking about was that AI figured out a way to lie. That they used AI to go through a CAPTCHA system, and the AI told the system that it was vision impaired, which is not technically a lie, but it used it to bypass, are you a robot?
What we don't know now is for large language models to say they don't know something. So you ask it a question, and if the answer to that question is not in the system, it still comes up with an answer. So it'll look at everything and give you its best answer. And if the best answer is not there, it still gives you an answer, but that's considered a hallucination. And we know
A hallucination?
Yeah, that's what it's called.
Really?
So
AI hallucination. So they cannot be wrong. They have to be
so
able to
far,
answer things.
we're actually working on being able to tell if it doesn't know something. So if you ask it something and say, oh, I don't know that. Right now it can't do that.
Oh, wow. That's interesting.
So it gives you some answer, and if the answer's not there, it just like makes something up. It's the best answer, but the best answer isn't very good because it doesn't know the answer. And the way to fix hallucinations is to actually give it more capabilities to memorize things and give it more information so it knows the answer to it. If you tell an answer to a question, it will remember that and give you that correct answer. But these models are not, we don't know everything. And it has to, we have to